Okay, it's time for the final section. I was looking forward to this one. Who I am as a person. Okay, so I'm going to go over my core values, my motivators, my heritage, the causes, some of the causes that I care about the most, and my interests and hobbies. I would like this to be a section that affords you the opportunity to learn a fair deal about who I am. I think that working with someone or just having someone as part of your personal network, but most especially hiring someone and having them as part of your team, it's not just about what they can do. It's not just about their expertise, their experience, their skills. It's about who they are as a person, especially hiring someone in a people operations role. And so if you end up watching this video because you're interested in assessing my candidacy for a role I've applied for, I hope that this section, as well as the values and personality page on my website, help you learn more about who I am. You don't get that really from a resume, nor do you necessarily get that from a very concise sort of 1 or 2 page website. Um, you get that once you start chatting with someone. You get that once you, not even maybe in a screen, you get that only after, successive interviews and really only once someone's joined your team. But it's such a crucial part of who you bring on, especially in a people ops role. Who is this person? What drives them? What do they care about? Um, what are their values? And do they align with my company's values? So that I know that they will embody those values easily, advocate on behalf of my company in their spare time, represent those values and my culture, and set an example for others to follow. So who I am is really important just as much as my skills are important, I believe. So here we go. Um, Core values. My most important. This is very easy for me to say with confidence. My most important value is authenticity. Um, I'm assuming that comes across in this video. If not, now you know. Um, I wish for everyone in this world to be able to live life as their true selves. I want people to be able to be who they are, um, be accepted for who they are, and feel comfortable in society, and comfortable with who they are. Um, Authenticity for me, you get from the very beginning, and I realized I can't remember quite when, but in recent years, um, that I think once I entered my 30s, I realized how important authenticity actually was to me. Giving it and receiving it. And I found that giving it creates a reciprocal in conversation. So a reaction, a similar reaction in turn. So you meet someone new and you come at them with a high level of authenticity, and you're frank and you're open and you're honest, and um, you tend to get that in return. And so obviously that has huge benefits when I'm sitting conducting an interview and someone can tell that I'm not just there to play games. I'm not just there to read a script. I'm there to actually have a valuable conversation, an interview that has a conversational style to it. That's my approach if I'm allowed to have that. And to where I want to learn genuinely who you are as a person. I find people fascinating. And to do that, I can't expect you to give that to me if I am not authentic within myself when I'm chatting with you. So it has a bonus benefit in my career, but that is just who I am as a person. So if you are meeting me and you're a teller in Pick and Pay, or someone who I'm chatting with in the queue at a supermarket, or a friend of mine, or a colleague, or someone in an interview in a professional capacity, you are getting authenticity. Um, and so what that means basically is that I'm not afraid to kind of speak about my values and speak about what I care about. And I'm not afraid to sit down with a manager or a friend and own up to my strengths and my weaknesses and how I can improve. And I think that's really important, is to have that level of self-awareness, be authentic. That's how you can grow. And that leads me on to continuous improvement. So growth is really important to me. Learning and development is really important. I think, like I mentioned earlier, learning is a lifelong journey. Um, when I'm not learning in my job, I find myself learning automatically, researching random things, really, in my spare time. I find human psychology really fascinating, so I'm often researching things to do with that, which has a benefit for my work, but that's not the intention behind it. Yeah, I'm really into tech, which I was going to mention later, and so I do a bunch of research into that as well. But I just love learning. And just recently, before making this video, I finished a course through a US university online for effective management and communication. And when I spotted that, I was like, I want to do this. I'm intrigued. So I just sort of stumble across things, and I'm like, oh, I want to ingest more knowledge. Um, if not for professional benefit, then just for the sake of having the knowledge, personal benefit, conversation starters. I just find it fun. Humility is a really core value of mine. So I think that it's really important to be modest and humble. This video might not be the best representation of that, but I think it's okay to speak confidently about your strengths. And I think it's good and healthy to celebrate your wins. So being modest and being humble is not about just pushing down your successes and not owning your wins and celebrating them. You should do that. They're your wins to celebrate. And so this video, I'm kind of chatting about, my achievements and my strengths, but in life in general, humility is really, really important to me. I did mention earlier in the video, I don't seek the spotlight. I don't work for accolades, um, or rather produce great outcomes for the purpose of getting accolades, um, and or positive reinforcement. I'm able to give that to myself. And so I think humility is really, really important. And again, that goes back to talking about, never assuming that you're the smartest person in the room. Um, there could always be someone who has a better idea or a better approach. Um, and that leads me nicely into open-mindedness, which I mentioned earlier in the video. So that is another core value, remaining open-minded. I always want to be on the right side of history. I always want to be open-minded enough to be proven wrong, which goes back to humility. Be able to accept if I've been wrong, learn from it, move forward, not make the same mistake again. It's that simple. But you need to be self-aware, and you need to be comfortable and confident within yourself to own your mistakes, to be humble, to actively listen, to receive feedback, whether it's positive or constructively critical, and to learn from that and move forward. And not everyone can do that. Not everyone wants to do that. And not everyone believes that that's good. Some people believe, I am who I am and I'm going to remain this way. That's not me. Even just looking back over the past couple of years and seeing how I've changed and how I've grown and what I've learned is proof, whether I like it or not, of the fact that uh, people, at least people like me, do not just stay in their ways, get stuck in their ways. And I want to always learn and grow. And you have to be open minded to do that. Another core value is stability. I mentioned earlier in the video, being that sort of calm amidst the storm. Um, it's just a benefit across the board in people roles to come in and be, a stable force, to kind of be cool, calm, and collected, for want of a better way of phrasing that. That is what makes you approachable. That is what makes people comfortable to chat with you. And that is what makes um, wading through difficult situations for a company and making difficult decisions and standing by them um, possible, is being stable. We're all human beings, but that is a core value of mine for sure, and a strength of mine. Um, Trust is really, really important. I think that goes hand in hand with authenticity. Building trust takes time. Losing trust can happen very quickly. That's the cruel irony, I think, in that situation, is it can take a long time to build up a really high level of trust with someone, and you can lose that so quickly. And so you should value that, and I do. And trust is really important, and being trusted and having trust in those close to me and those with whom I work is really important. Good communication, and I hope this video is a good representation, an accurate representation of that. But good communication, written, oral, is really important, um, and obviously goes a long way in people roles. But like I said, I'm a people person through and through, and good communication fits right in with that. So that's a core value of mine. Um, and I think part of that is knowing your audience. So I don't have any particular style of communication, or I might have a style that I default to if no other style is required, but it's situationally based, and it can be based on the particular person that who I'm speaking with. So I don't have this tried and true methodology for communicating, and that's the way I communicate. Um, my communication style is adaptable, and it's based on the situation, and it's based on my audience. So whether that audience is, I'm doing a presentation at a conference, if I am giving feedback to senior leadership, if I am coaching a new hire who is fresh out of university and very lost in the world of work, if I am giving advice to a team lead because they've come to me in a difficult situation and they don't know what to do, if I am hiring someone in a technical role, like a software developer, versus someone from a very different background, like someone in sales or someone in customer success, or someone in content creation, um, or whether I'm chatting with my friends or my family, um, that communication style is adaptable. It makes a difference to a conversation. It makes a difference to me. It makes a difference to the person I'm speaking with, whether that is a person in an interview who I've never met before, whether it is my manager, whether it is my mom, whether it is my best friend. My communication style is adaptable. I think knowing your audience is very, very important with that. So good communication is a core value. And then finally, empathy. Um, I think that has probably come across at various points in this video, that is a core value of mine. I am a people person. Being empathetic goes hand in hand with that. I think it helps, again, in people operations roles, to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And so there's a difference between sympathy and empathy. And empathy is really putting yourself in that person's shoes and looking at things from their perspective, understanding why they might be feeling a particular way, why they might be debating from a particular standpoint or arguing a particular point, why they might be approaching a project in a particular way. is that empathy enables you to actually take yourself and at least try to put yourself in their shoes, see things from their perspective, understand where they're coming from, and then work with them with that context. And so, being a natural empath, that's a natural core value of mine. It's something that I value. It's something that has really been of great benefit in people roles thus far. Motivators. Here's a surprise. Number one, people. I realized, I think, about between 1 and 2 years ago, the degree to which people motivate me and the degree to which people are kind of interwoven into almost, if not every facet of my life. So, what do I enjoy doing for work? People operations. What do I enjoy doing with my spare time? Researching human psychology or spending quality time with those people who are close to me, like my best friend, or my mom, or you know, just spending time with people. Maybe meeting up with someone from my past. Maybe getting to know someone new. Um, and interests as well. Like I said, what do I do in my spare time? I'm researching people, so I'm interested in people as well. So it's just like every facet of my life just somehow involves people, even purpose. Right? I've thought about purpose, and I've thought about what does purpose mean to me on this earth, and I ended up with, well, if possible, ideally, I would hope to leave every person with whom I interact a little bit better off, a little bit happier, a little bit better off than they were before they interacted with me. It's not always possible, right? But that is what gives me purpose. That is my purpose in this life. And um, that's a really big motivator for me, and it brings me a lot of joy, especially when I can tell that is what's happened. So people, essentially. Other motivators, though, being comfortable, that means very different things to very different people, as it well should. For me, it means something very particular, being comfortable in life, and that is a motivator for me. Um, that involves who I spend my time with. It involves what I do in terms of my hobbies, but just being comfortable and being happy in life. Just being happy. That is the most important thing. Is that you are living your life happily. And then my quest for knowledge is a motivator. So as I've mentioned before, I love learning, and I'm motivated by learning and through learning. And that is a cyclical thing. The more I learn, I think the more I want to learn. My heritage. So I grew up in Cape Town, in South Africa. Um, this is a country and a city rich with history, diversity, culture, the variety of cuisines, arts and crafts, talent, um, and is a country that is very unified and has a lot of togetherness and a wonderful culture and a very welcoming and warm and friendly and open and helpful and cooperative culture. And I love that. And that is me through and through. And so I truly am proudly South African, and this is home. And I'm so privileged that I was able to grow up here, and I'm so honored and happy that I am living in Cape Town and um, South African and part of this awesome country. And so that's part of my heritage. I have a very small but valued group of family and friends. And I love them dearly. They're very important to me. I would do anything for them, and they bring a lot of joy into my life. And I can only hope that I continue to do the same for them, if not more. The causes that I care about, include, this is not exclusive by any means, but they include quality, accessible education, strengthening democratic institutions, and maintaining independent and unbiased media. Those are some of the causes that I care about. And then some of my interests and hobbies: tech. I've been into tech for as long as I can remember. I've built multiple computers for myself and my friends in my lifetime, and so that's on the hardware side. On the software side, I've explored a lot of different platforms in my personal time, and I've kept up to date with hardware and software developments in the tech space. So I truly am a techie. And I've even volunteered, as I mentioned, in sort of the infrastructure space in terms of fiber rollouts. So I've had um, insight into tech from multiple different angles. Um, Animals, it's a huge one. I love animals, and that led me to volunteer with the Oscar's Ark WIF project, the dog adoption traveling dog adoption center. They do have a permanent base in Cape Town, and so if you are looking to adopt, they do have an adoption center there. You can also foster, but you can go to the traveling. I think it's quite an innovative thing. They have a shipping container, and the puppies are inside, and the adults are around, and they travel all around Cape Town. And I'd be really excited if they expanded across into other cities in South Africa in the future. But I think it's a really innovative concept, and that's brought me a lot of happiness, being able to interact with the dogs there. Absolutely love dogs. Gardening, that is a hobby of mine. It brings me peace and tranquility. I have enjoyed gardening for many, many years. It's been a shared hobby between myself and my mom, and so really valuable quality time spent, the two of us together, uh, planting plants and flowers. And at the time that I'm making this video, it's springtime here in Cape Town, and so there is some fun gardening for the two of us on the horizon, and I'm looking really forward to that. So I love just getting down on my knees in the garden and being at one with nature and just appreciating. I am the person who actually does stop and smell the flowers, if that gives you any sense of it. I really do just appreciate the small things in life, and sometimes that can be a plant that flowered unexpectedly, that you planted a couple months back. And so gardening has been a long time hobby. And then finally nature, which I guess goes hand in hand with that, but I love nature. I can often be found on a walking trail, you know, greeting people's dogs, or hiking up a mountain here in Cape Town, enjoying the sunshine at the beach, um, in a forest. There's so much to do in terms of nature in the city. Such a variance. It's a wonderful place to be for nature lovers, and I'm lucky that within 20 minutes drive from my house, because I live centrally in the city, I have access to all of the things that I just mentioned and more. And it's a gorgeous, really gorgeous city. And so, yeah, as far as I can remember, I've always loved nature. And that is one of the ways that I enjoy spending my free time. So, yeah, that was the final section. I hope that that gave you a better sense of who I am. Thank you so much for visiting my website. I hope that you found this video insightful. Like I mentioned before, love networking. I would especially love to grow my network of people operations or people and culture professionals, um, especially here in Cape Town, but across South Africa, or even further afield. If you're here in Cape Town and you'd like to meet up for a tea or coffee, I'll happily buy you one whenever is convenient. There are a lot of great cafes in the city. We can chat about our careers, our goals, um, and network. I love meeting new people if you'd like to reach out to me because you have an opportunity, a work opportunity that you think would be a great fit for me, you have a company that you think I would find interesting, or you'd just like to chat professionally or personally, please feel free to do that. Like I said, I'm a people person through and through. So there are multiple ways to get in touch with me listed on my contact page on my website and in the description of this video as well. And I will link the website in the description as well. If you go through to YouTube, if you're watching this somewhere else, it will be there. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye.